Hi, CutCardStock friends. This is Maureen today with you, and I have a really easy project to put together for any of those milestone birthdays you have coming up. This is involving very few tools, usually just a scissors and a pencil. We're going to go ahead and make a gift bag decoration. And as you can see, I've started with a couple numbers that I'm tracing onto the basis white paper. This is a great sturdy paper to do this with. I had these numbers from an old project and I didn't want to use them. I wanted to use them as stencils. So I traced them out on my paper and then I cut them out. Don't worry about the cut lines as you cut this paper because it is such a forgiving paper. It's going to look professional at the end, I promise you. So just cut on your drawing lines all the way around. And when you have your numbers ready, you'll be ready to decorate. Okay, so I've cut my numbers out of the basis white paper. Now what I've decided to do is do a leopard print. This is for a 75th birthday, obviously. And I'm choosing the leopard print. I'm going to add some pink and black inks to it. The way I tried this is just to tape it down to my surface and then grab some daubers and then ink them up. Now in this case, I'm going to add some pink in certain spots on the stenciling and just go all the way around, leaving some space because I'm going to add some black later on too. And go all the way around my number. It's really good to tape your stencil down too so your paper doesn't shift. Now I do start with a lighter color stencil and ink first and then go back over it with the darker. It usually is not successful for me if I do it the other way around. My dauber gets all inky and dark. So I've finished adding the pink to my number, and then I'm going to come back around with some black on the spots that I left open. And you don't have to press really hard, especially with the black. This is just a really easy, light touch that I'm using. Catch all the edges here. And a little bit more down at the bottom. Now I do have some tape lines that I'll be pulling up here in a moment and making sure that I color over those as well. This is going to be a really snazzy pattern. Okay, so carefully lift the stencil and the tape that I used. If it covered over anything, I went ahead and go over it with another color. Isn't that cute? What an awesome leopard color. And I do have a little space here I'm going to fill in. Isn't that neat? So I went ahead and did both my numbers and put them aside. My next step now is to cut a bow from one of my old cut patterns. This is a 3D bow that I assemble myself, and I'm using the textured shimmer pearlized black paper. This paper is really sturdy as well, holds together really nicely, and it actually gives a little shine in the light as well. So to keep my bow together, I am using some of the adhesive roller tape. And then later on, when that is all assembled, I will go back and add a little bit of tacky glue to make sure my bow stays together. Now I'm just following the assembly instructions for my 3D bow here. This bow was from a Sizzix cut I had. Making sure to assemble it just as necessary. There is an extra piece here that I decided not to use. I wanted to use the fatter middle of the bow. Adding a little bit more roller tape to the ends of my bow. And these are going to stick to the back. Make sure you've got your pearlized pattern up front when you adhere it. All right, so I stick it on the bow, flip it around. How cute is that? I love this paper. It's so shiny in the light. Okay, you gotta have the bling, gals. So it's time to add a rhinestone. I'm just gonna put some tacky glue and glue it in the middle. Ah, so cute. Okay, I wanted some more of this paper because it's so fun. So what I'm gonna do is flip it on its backside and then flip my number over as well. So I've got the mirror image tracing. And I'm going to trace it on the back of the textured shimmery black pearl paper. All right, trace both numbers. Now what I'm going to do here is I want to have a little extra offset border for my numbers. And since I don't have any sort of electronic cutting pattern to do it with, I'm just going to do it with my scissors. If you can see in the light here, there's a pencil and it's a little bit of a border. What I'm going to do is add a 1/4 inch border to that all the way around. Now, if you're not real adept at eyeballing this, go ahead and draw your line first and then cut it out. I am pretty used to doing this, so I didn't have to draw the line all the way around, but leave that little 1/4 of an inch edge all the way around your cut. And again, real forgiving paper does not require a lot of effort or worry about you've got jagged edges. Make sure you take it all the way around. If you have certain spaces in the middle of the number, go ahead and leave those filled in. So here we have our numbers. And now what I'm going to do is actually add the pop dots to the basis white numbers that I've stenciled. And these are going to give sort of a lifted edge to my numbers. I'm leaving a little bit of space at the bottom in case I want to turn this into a cake topper later on. I can put a straw or a stick. I've cut both those numbers out. I've put the pop dots on my numbers now, and now I'm ready to adhere them together. Using just a little bit of roller tape, going to be assembling the 2 textured shimmer pearl black papers together just to hold it as a background. And then I'm going to apply my numbers right on top. And notice there's just a tiny little lift on my numbers to give it a 3D effect. I'm going to do the same with the other number. All right, and there we have it. Now notice I still have space if I want to turn this into a cake topper, but mine is going to go on a gift bag. Okay, it's time to attach the really cute bow. This one I just used some tacky glue. Later on, I did go back and actually add a little weight to this to hold down until it dried. This is adorable for any milestone birthday coming up. I sure hope you enjoyed this project. Thanks for stopping by, CutCardStock friends.